Hey guys, it's Greg. So in this video we are going to talk about Witcher: The Old World. I think this is a title that I don't have to introduce to anybody. This is one of the hottest premieres of this year. So this time this is going to be a review. If you're interested in this title, just check out the rest of this video.
Let's start with the most obvious. The game looks really good and it feels like premium stuff from the moment you open the box. Double-layered players boards, thematic well-designed graphics, properly casted miniatures covering most of the iconic monsters, and dynamic poses of both Witchers and mages. All of this makes Witcher one of the best looking games your table can host. The whole game is filled with love for the Witcher IP. Mentioned monsters cover many we can think of, including Striga and Braxa. The locations on the map, Witcher schools, poker, tavern fights, everything is here, but the aspect that makes the game immersive the most are the events. The deck with them is thick, and it can take many sessions to draw the same ones as previously. The writing is nice, and most of the stories catch the vibe of the original IP perfectly. If you are here mostly for the Witcher theme, there is a high chance you're gonna like it. Unfortunately, the good things I can say about this board game end here. The core engine focuses on deck building and using cards both to move around the map and during the encounters. The problem is that the diversity of cards we can buy is surprisingly low, and most of them differ from each other only in the amount of attack and defense icons. Yes, we get a few more unique cards here and there, but it's more efficient to always buy cheaper ones, to have more of them for running from town to town during your turn. Combat here sounds fun, on paper. It's probably the very first time when I prayed for dice while I have cards to fight. Building the sequence from cards sounds cool for the first few fights, but the same as with Tainted Grail, it becomes too repetitive and too long after some time. Too simple approach to what cards offer made this element less engaging than it should be. And now we are reaching the biggest problem of this game. It's boring. The map offers plenty of locations to visit, but each of them allows you to perform one specific action. This would be okay if those actions wouldn't be repeated several times. Visit town A to raise your defense, visit town B to raise your attack, visit town C to raise your elixir stat, etc. The rest of the towns allows to play the same poker game, and a few other offers some more sophisticated but totally unnecessary to win this game actions. In competitive mode, to win the game you need to reach level 4 of reputation. You gain the reputation for killing monsters, fighting with other Witchers, or achieving the 5th level of one of your 4 stats. If you are quick enough with leveling your hero, it's possible to get 3 points of reputation just by leveling. One last point of reputation must be gained by killing a monster or fighting with another Witcher. So how to level up fast? Simply visit the same location several times to raise your stats, take some breaks to gain coins by playing poker, and get elixirs for more cards to draw if you're lucky, and that's all. With Skellige expansion it's even faster, because one of the islands allows you to rise any stat you want. There's absolutely no reason to risk losing the fight with hunting down the monsters too early in the game. If monsters would stop your movement on the board, that would have more sense, but now they just look good on the table. The effects of the events are fully random, so there is no sense to count them into your strategy. It would be much better to copy the solution from old Eldritch Horror, where each town has a much higher chance to provide specific rewards while experiencing events there. And while events in The Witcher work in favor of the immersion, the rest of the gameplay lacks it, and it's too shallow to enjoy it. Another thing that sounds great only in theory, different schools for our Witchers, because the only difference between them is one unique skill for each school. Again, this would be good, but those skills are quite underwhelming, and it feels again that the designer was afraid to take any risks with asymmetry and breaking the balance here. While the very first session pretends to offer countless strategies and possibilities, you will quickly realize gameplay here is very repetitive. Downtime here is massive, and it's especially painful in competitive mode. During your turn, you can visit at least several locations, performing actions in each of them, including playing poker and fighting. And maybe while this sounds cool for the player who has his turn at the moment, the rest of the players have absolutely nothing to do. With 3 players at the table, you can easily wait 20 minutes for your turn, and this problem only grows with more people playing. After 2 sessions in competitive mode, all players decided it has very little sense to play this game more, so we tried cooperation. It started nicely, and it feels like playing co-op here feels more natural. The goal is to strengthen yourself enough while weakening the final boss before finally fighting him. This reminds me a lot of Runbound, and that works, but it's a big but. After slaying the final boss here, there's a little reason to go back to co-op mode again. Different, much smaller deck of the events for co-op play will get repetitive fast, and knowing how to beat the boss, you are going to play a very, very similar session again. People are asking us which expansion to buy first. The quick answer is none of them, because they introduce very little to the general mechanics and it's just more of the same stuff. But picking just one, I will focus probably on legendary encounters to have more great minis roaming the board. This one also changes the rules a little bit. Now the goal is to kill the legendary monster. Does this change make the game more engaging? No. On the other hand, Skellige makes the easy game even easier, while Mage's add-on rise the complexity a bit, but in the end, changes nothing. Summing up, Witcher the Old World met all of the expectations we had while buying it. We backed this project mostly to make content about it, and we were not counting on something outstanding. It's not a bad game, it's just a mediocre one, with simple, not engaging mechanics and expansions that don't elevate gameplay almost at all. Massive downtime between turns and winning competitions too easy to achieve make the game boring in the long run. On the other hand, we have a stunning table presence, beautiful art, awesome minis and immersive but only slightly affecting gameplay events. And only for those reasons, we are raising the game's final score from 5 to 6 scratches out of 10 possible. While people looking for good gameplay will not find it here, fans of the Witcher IP possibly can still enjoy this game, especially if they are not veteran board gamers. Our copy was sold right after this review and we do not regret it even for a second. Once again, marketing was way better than the final product. To all publishers and designers, people are still waiting for the board game Witcher deserves. That's all for today, see you at the next game, and don't forget to subscribe our channel.